DBS community, welcome back. Another video here with Chris. We're going to be going over the next deck that I kind of did a lot of these out of order, as you can tell. We're going to be going over Jiren with the new anniversary box support. For those who don't know what Jiren does, this is a deck I've never actually played before, so I've played against it a lot, but never actually played the deck. The concept of the deck is you go into these evolved targets and go up to bigger and bigger and bigger Jirens, and while you're doing that, you're building up your leader, you're gaining power, and you're kind of spamming the board out with all these very, very beefy battle cards. I mean, I know it's Jiren, so he's a beefy guy, but the actual archetype is very cool. It's very heavily archetype based. It's a very big Universe 7 or Universe 11 build. You can put Universe 7 cards in there. Who cares, right? As long as you're not evolving a Saiyan on top of a Topo card, right? That's kind of the main thing here. So, this also deck does build around the Spirit Boost archetype. I think this is one of the first, not the first decks, but might actually be one of the first sets that really utilize Spirit Boost, right? Which has been a skill that doesn't really do much. So like certain archetypes, it's very viable, and it's kind of the foothold of the deck. And other decks, it's just kind of meh. So you search top 5, top 7, and you play a Universe 11 that costs 1 rest mode, which is kind of the whole concept of the deck. You go into these Jiren cards, and you awaken at 4. On the other side, you have limit 2. If it's your turn, you play a Universe 7 card. This card gains 5k power for the turn, so you can kind of beef up your leader. Draw when you attack, and when your opponent attacks, you can Spirit Boost to choose at the one red Jiren in your hand with an evolve skill, and you pay the skill cost of the chosen evolve skill card, and then you can evolve it as long as it meets the evolve requirements. So essentially, you're able to evolve on your opponent's turn, which is crazy. Very cool deck. Always playing against it. It's been very interesting. So let's see kind of what the archetype could look like if you're playing it after the anniversary box support. So the first card is going to be the Sonic Dimension Topo, Dispo, whatever. Dispo, right? When it's played, draw 1. Limit 1 when your red Jiren with evolve is played. Then you draw, and then you play. You choose one of your Topo, Force of Obliteration, and add 2 markers to it. That's going to be your Unison. Activate battle, use a battle card from under one of your red Jirens in the combo with the skills negated for the turn. So this is a once per turn and activate battle. This is very cool. This actually allows you to get the Jirens in the drop area or to get them into the Z energy to go into your new Z battle card that we have. Hint, hint. 2 tempered forms, 4 thirst for power, 3 the Avengers. I think it's all the 1-drops. Yep. So this is the newer quote unquote promo. You draw 1, and then if you don't, you get to play a Topo Unison from your hand with a marker on it, and you can send this card to the warp from your drop, and then add a marker to your Topo. So just another Jiren you can go into. Thirst for power is kind of the main one. You search top 5 for a Jiren or a red Unison that costs 1, and then you have an evolve X evolve for 3 energy. And then we have, so this is kind of weird. So you can like X evolve. It's weird. Yeah, it's strange. Permanent if your leader is this one. So this one reduces the can't talk, right? Your Jirens with an original end cost of 4 in your hand gain the following effect. They all gain the X evolve skill for 3 energy on top of a Jiren that costs 1. Right. So this one allows you to reduce the cost of some of the cards. Also gives you some of the Jiren cards that don't have evolve. I think there's 1 or 2 4-drop Jirens that don't have evolve. So you actually can use that for that skill. All right. Then we have Avenger. Draws you a card, and you can choose 1 card in your hand and discard. You place a card at the bottom of your deck from your drop, and you can add a Jiren that costs 5 or less with evolve from your deck to your hand. So you kind of can cycle out through your deck and also grab the piece you need to go up the chain. 4 Devastating Mites. And 3 Supreme Readiness. So this is one of the promos that came out a while ago. Typical one, you go into a 1-drop, you play it, you draw a card, you mine something by 10k. And then Supreme Readiness, cool looking card. X Evolve, top 1 for 0 energy. When this card is played, draw, activate main, place the card in the owner's drop, play up to 1-drop Jiren that costs 1. From your drop with the skills negated for the turn in rest mode. So you can go kind of into one of these guys here. So that's your 19k and your 15k. Then you have your 5-drop Surge of Strength. This is kind of the one that most of the Jiren decks that were being piloted at the time would kind of stay in. 19k dual attacker. If it's being removed, you can take a life or place 2 cards from under this card in the drop instead. So you can kind of keep it alive, and it's a permanent, so you can just continue to do it as long as you actually can pay the cost. Cards played, draw 1, and then choose one of your leaders or other battle cards. That is Universe 7. So your Universe 7 leader or battle cards other than this card, and then it gets 1k power for the turn. So again, you can give your leader 5k, 1k. You can give your other Jirens here 1k as well. Kind of the good curve out play was going into a 5-drop and probably a 4-drop in the same turn. You have the other promo 5-drop. Goes on top of a 1-drop. Once card's played, search top 7. Add up to 1 red Universe 11 card among them to your hand. If you added a card to your hand, choose 1 card in your hand, put it at the bottom of your deck. Ideally, I don't really think any of these cards, like, ideally you want to put in your deck, but like any of these cards here, the 4 and 5 drops, you can just put them back in your deck so you can just grab them back by Jiren, the Avenger here. So then we have 2 Zenith of Power. This is your big boss monster. You're probably not going to go into it too much. 35k double striker for 2. Cards played, you neg something by 35k, ignoring barrier. That's pretty relevant right now. Hint, hint, you're playing against Gogeta. This card is just going to obliterate the 8-drop. And you can't play non-U7, U11 cards for the turn. Battle cards for the turn. Active main plays 1 card from under this in the drop, switch to active mode, and then you may have your leader, red leader, so basically give them a 5k buff for the turn. So, giving your leader more attack power. 3 Pride of Universe 11. This is an older promo. You pitch it to play out 2 U11 guys from the drop with their skills negated. So this just allows you to cycle back into your 1-drops to go up your chain for free. 4 Raditz super combos. 4 Topo Force of Obliteration. This is your Unison. When a red battle card evolves, it gets 5k for the turn. This card gets 5k for the turn and adds a marker to it. So you're going to be adding a marker. You're going to be adding 2 markers generally on your turn, and then another marker on your opponent's turn. And then obviously you're spirit boosting, so it's just not losing any value essentially. At the end of the turn, you play up to 1 red battle card that costs 1 from your hand in rest mode, and then -7. If your opponent has 3 more life, you deal damage to him. That part doesn't seem to be relevant too much because this unit's probably going to die before then, but it's an effect. 3 Wolfang Fist, since we are playing a unison that seems to live decently well as long as you're not playing against green. 1 Yamcha Merciless Barrage. I believe we can play this one, right? Yeah, we can play this guy. We have 4 Grandfather Strength Pan. This is the newer anniversary card. When your card's power is increased by 1 of your skills, draw a card, then choose one of your opponent's battle cards and minus it by 20k. If your leader is red, and you or your opponent has a battle card with 15k power or more in play, play the card from your hand. So as soon as you get into Devastating Might, this card is alive, you play it, and then every time you play once per turn, limit 1, when one of your cards' power is increased by your skill, you draw a card. So if your leader gains 1k or 5k off of a skill, you're going to draw off this and neg something by 20k. This is a very cool skill. It's a very, very cool skill. It's limit 1, thankfully, so like you can't stack multiples on the board. But this card is going to, this is not a card that's going to bring back red, but it's definitely a card that every red deck is going to play because of the value. Most red decks are increasing the power in some way, shape, or form. Like there's this deck, there's the Pan deck. Those are probably the 2 you would play this in right now. That's pretty good. I think some of the GT cards from the Trio deck do that as well. Yeah, the Trio Saiyan decks does that as well, although the deck's not very good. You also could do that in the Spaceship deck, I believe, as well. So there's quite a bit. 3 difference of status. We can use this as kind of our big boss monster killer. Neg something by 5k, and then for every marker, we neg something again by 5k for each marker, so you can like really kill like Secret Raid with this card. 2 Testing the Ops. And then 1 Pan Time Patrol Maiden. So there's not really a good unison, a good unison. There's not really a good ultimate for this deck. You can't play Vegito. Vegeta is too expensive, being a 4 cost, and then the unison's not very good. So there's not a lot of good red secret rares for this deck. So Panda seems to be the best. Being a 40k free body is pretty good. I also didn't include an overwhelm target in this deck. A lot of it had to do with the Jiren, but you can probably just add a overwhelm if you so choose. Deck seems to be kind of a mid-rangey red deck. I don't think you can kill incredibly early anymore. with the amount of floodgates and things in this game, it's going to be much more difficult for this deck to kill that quickly. But the deck can probably go in like turn 3 is probably the earliest. Turn 4, turn 5 probably is more so where you're going to be at. For the Z deck, 3 of the new Jiren Righteous Pride Trooper. So it costs 1 if you have a topo in play with 4 markers. Now, if you enter battle, you can remove this card from under a red Jiren from the game. Choose it to one of your red Jiren battle cards, switch it to active mode. Choose it to one of your topo unisons, switch it to active mode. That card gains blocker for the turn. Additionally, if one of your unisons has 5 or more markers, choose one of your opponent's battle cards or unisons and minus by 15k for the turn. Also, this guy costs 1 if you have the topo in play. So this guy costs 1 energy and 1 Z energy. So what's cool about this card is that this card allows you to evolve on top of it because it costs 1. So you can go into you can go into your 4 drops. I think you can go from the 5 drop too. You can go from the 5 drop as well. I believe this guy can also go from the 5 drop. So like you can really just like you have essentially another 1 drop, which is why we didn't really max out on these guys because we always have a 1 drop at our disposal. We have 2 of the I hit the wrong thing. Not that the red Z deck's pretty basic. 2 rush attacks, 1 defender of life, 1 Videl. Videl works because we do have an Earthling red. We have a red Earthling card that we do play, which is the Pan with this guy. So this card also counts as for that effect. So we can also get that effect and pop cards that are 15k power or less. So overall, I don't think the deck is incredibly competitive in the sense of being able to replace Pan as the red deck, when red right now is just kind of an abysmal disgrace to the game, which is fine because red's been good for so long. So Pan's really the only good red deck. I don't count like things like Gogeta, Exodia. It's not really a red deck. It's just a gimmick. It could be colorless for all I care. This is probably the closest thing to another red deck right now, and it just gets outvalued by Pan. Pan just has more value than all these other red decks, which is again kind of a Bandai problem, but I'm not gonna go over that in this video. So deck is cool. I won't play it just because I don't really like Jiren, so I'm probably never gonna play this deck. But it's for people who do like Jiren, play it. I think the deck definitely got better. And who knows, maybe there's some surprise tech that I didn't look over. That if you want to share that in the comments, let me know down below. As always, thank you guys for supporting the channel. If you guys do support the channel, obviously that's why you're here. Like and subscribe. I appreciate everything, and I will see you guys in the next one.